Alright. So we're going to today. My name is Charles Adetola, in case.
We didn't remember.
Yeah. And I'm not a terrorist.
You're not a robot.
Today we're talking about, and it was first introduced by Alexander, am I right, and Osterwalder in the year 2005. And it's all about the 9 building blocks of every business. But first, let me introduce you to the diagram. And you should be able to know how to construct this diagram in your dreams. And I'm taking the simplest route, and you divide this into two. Are we together? Now, then this part, you divide it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And this part, divide into 2 again, and divide this part into 2 again, making it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That these are going to be populated with the 9 building blocks we're going to be talking about. 1, 2. I'm going to tell you why those are the first two we start with. 1 is called the VP, value proposition. 2, simply CS rather, which is the customer segment. Then we have others. Let me tell you what they are. Then we have 1, 2, 3, we have 4. 3 is the channels, in brackets, we call that CH. 4 is the relationship, we call it CR. Together, are we still together? Huh? Yeah. Then
So
we have
number 3 is what?
channels. Then 5, we have key activities. KA. 6, we have KR. They are the key resources. 7, we have KP. They are the key partnerships.
Number 5 is what? Key activity.
Yeah, KA, key activities. Active. Then we have 8, which is
Under that one, is that value proposition? 1.
1, yes, the one is value
proposition. Yeah. That number 6 is keyword, sorry. Key.
Number 6, key resources.
Okay.
We're still going to take it one by one, but I just wanted to have the diagram of the construction is very important. First, a rectangle, cut this into some half, and divided it by 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, break this into 2, and you have
What do you write in
4? Yeah.
What do you
Relationship.
Relationships. Customer relationship. Yeah.
Number 8 is what?
Cost structure.
CS.
Yep. Or probably C dollar. Then number 9 is R dollar. Or revenue stream. Now, one of the reasons why we are actually having this training is because we have limited resources. We're a startup and we're trying to maximize the resources we have and actually get tangible results. Now, introducing this will make us understand everything we need. We're taking all the ideas, all the programs, all the plans we have, analyzing it one by one, looking at the cost structure, revenue stream, value position, analyzing all these, using this as a benchmark, we can now decide on, okay, where should we delegate more resources? Which one we have less activities to perform? Can we simply dedicate to one person? Which one do we need more partners to join us on? All that we can now use to analyze and say, okay, yes, let's focus on this, let's focus on this. This we can put on hold till later or whatsoever. And we are not going to take this as the business itself. Like, okay, this is what the business does, and we're going to, no, we're going to unbundle. Unbundle means, okay, we're a business, we're ICT business, for instance. We do trainings, which is one. We do, let's say we do computer sales. We are going to take that separately. So we're going to get more into that once we start with value proposition. But so far, any issue with this guide that we drew yet?
In terms of seeing what you wrote.
Yeah.
Majority
Number
is-
one, value proposition.
Is
Two,
it proposition? Abi?
yeah, proposition.
Proposition.
Yeah. Two, customer segment. Three, channels. Four, relationships. Five, key activities. Six, key resources. Seven, key partnerships. Eight, cost structure. Nine, revenue stream. So starting with value proposition now. Number one, VP, which is value proposition. What is value proposition? A lot of people make the mistake of thinking, okay, value proposition is actually what your business does. No, it is actually the benefits that that particular service, right, gives to the customer. For instance, if you are running training on this particular training, let's assume it's a paid training that people are coming and they're learning. The service itself is not the value proposition. The value proposition is the peace of mind, is the confidence that you have to know that, okay, yes, I can actually draw up a business model by myself. That is the value for that particular service. So, for instance, the person, a tailor, is not just the value proposition won't be sewing of clothes. No, it's
The
all about
benefits.
what makes that particular business unique. That's why if we're in the same business, your value proposition might be different from mine. For instance, if we're in food delivery business together, your value proposition might be speed. You order and you get it instantly. For me, it might be more of
Free delivery.
exactly, which is more of cost saving. I think you save cost. So we might be in the same business and our value proposition will be quite different. And that is what makes the business itself unique. And that's why it's the first thing you need to figure out. And that's why it leads to the second thing, because it's when you understand your value proposition very well, you know exactly what you're offering. For instance, we're doing a training for B, the spelling bee. Let's take spelling bee for instance. What is the value proposition in that?
The scholarship that will be given to the students.
Scholarship that will be given to the students, right? Now, what is the benefit of that scholarship?
As in,
Benefit of the scholarship.
Is it the quality of the education that the students will get? Is it the cost that the parents will have to save that they don't have to pay because of the scholarship?
Knowledge.
Exactly. Those are the things I'm asking. Those are the real value
the
proposition.
knowledge.
The knowledge
Now,
they
who
will
is
achieve.
hmm?
The knowledge they will achieve.
The knowledge? And what will the knowledge bring them?
A low cost.
No.
No.
What will the knowledge
Oh,
itself give
the
them?
knowledge.
That's the benefit.
Okay.
Okay, the knowledge itself is, let's say, it's the tool, is what they are getting. Yeah.
Okay.
But what is the benefit of that knowledge to them?
To advance
Quality education.
Okay.
Quality education.
What's the aftermath of quality education?
What's the
Aftermath of quality education.
Like, get them a very good life. Good
We're
job.
getting there. A better standard of living.
a better standard of living? Yeah.
You get that's a unique value proposition. Okay, yes. The purpose of this particular spelling bee is to actually create better standard of living for students. That's it. Another person might come and say, okay, our spelling bee is to actually give phones to students. What is the benefit of the phones? To enhance communication, to do this. Then their own value proposition is definitely
Quite
different. So your value proposition itself is what makes your business unique on its own. So, and whatever projects you're going into, understanding the value proposition goes a long way into determining the relevance of the project. So, in business, a whole lot of things. Value proposition could be convenience, it could be speed, it could be a new kind of idea, it could be anything itself.
But it has to be what the customer
That is
likes.
exactly the end result of that particular service itself.
That's the benefit of the.
So before embarking on any, like there should always be an end.
Exactly.
There should always be that what.
Now, what is the value proposition of this training? We are trying to optimize our resources. We're trying to cut down costs. We're trying to be more focused.
Yeah.
Why? Because we don't want to put all our resources all out there and come up with nothing. So optimization is key. Business optimization, operational optimization of everything. It's part of our own value proposition.
Can we also say it helps you to getting a better understanding of what
You're going into
where you're
exactly
going to.
because you're going to get to ask yourself multiple whys. Why is this and why is this why? Till you get to something tangible that you can hold that okay, this is the end result
Okay,
of what we are doing.
that's good.
Now, this second guy here, CS, we have the customer segment. Who are the people getting this particular value that we're proposing? As where that question of market comes in. Who are the people? Understanding, even in digital marketing, when you are running a campaign, one of the first things I always advise that everybody or anybody will advise you is come up with a customer avatar. Who are the people you're targeting? Who are your ideal market? Age, gender, preferences, psychographics and demographics, all that. You need to know that. Knowing your market goes a long way. There are some markets and there are different kind of customer segments. We have a generic customer segment where the product actually fits into everybody. For instance, a phone. For phone, some people have preferences. Infinix, iPhone, Samsung, and all that. But there are some products that actually goes out to almost everyone. Okay, for instance, a marker. Everyone uses a marker. So, but there are some segments that are clearly defined, clear cut defined. Okay, for instance, I use as an example. There are people that go into business. I've seen that a lot come of it. The fashion designers that go into business and saying they're only in business for plus size. Have you seen that before?
For what?
Plus size. They don't do the normal size. They want to be doing extra, extra, and large. That's what they're going into. That's what they do. Yeah. At the same time, there are some car manufacturers that will tell you their car from their brand reward and promise. You will know that they'll tell you their car is for this particular set of people.
Like luxury brand.
Exactly.
Range Rover,
Exactly.
Rolls Royce.
So most times Rolex will tell you they're not just selling wristwatches. They're selling you a reward for your accomplishment. That yes, I accomplished this. You deserve a Rolex. So at that point, it goes beyond the product itself. It's more about the mentality. It's more about the psychographics of that particular um, customer segment. So if we're talking about spelling bee could even we could organize a spelling bee for inmates. That's a different customer segment. We could organize spelling bee for secondary school students. It could be for primary school students. It could be for tertiary institutions. They are all clear different customer segments. And that will lead us to the third part, which is the channel. Because each of these customer segment has a particular way you have to approach them. They have a different channel. If you're talking about inmates, there's a way, there are facilities for them. Their approach will be quite different. Secondary school, different. Tertiary institution, different. But let's stay more on this customer segment. At the same time, we have a multi-sided customer segment. And a good example of that is Google. Another friend the other day is not he would tell me if I'm working, if I'm an ambassador for Google. So, but the thing is, it's a multi-sided platform because we have people that are actually putting content out there, and we have people that are looking for the content, and they have to appeal to these two segments different ways. There are people that are running AdSense, which okay, they're telling Google, okay, come advertise on my website. There are people that are going in through AdWords saying, okay, I want to pay Google to actually advertise my product. The two segments are still the customer to Google, and they have to find a way to actually appeal. So for those kind of things, you will have a different charts for each of the segments. So for the charts for the the advertisers will actually be quite different because the value proposition is different. The chart for the content creators will be different because the value proposition too is different. So it's all about having a clear-cut boundary of what you're doing and who you are reaching out to. Let's take for instance again training, computer training, an ICT center. We have digital marketing training. We have graphics design training. We have project management training. The customer segment for each of these trainings are different. So you just onboarding them together. Okay, we do this, we want to reach out to this and that at the same time. So still have to go more into this later on. Let's move on to our third guy here, who is yeah, channels. You know what you are offering, you know your value proposition, you know your customer segment exactly. Now, how do you get across to them? That's what channels is all about. Depending on the kind of business you're into, there are some customers that you won't find online. It has to be physical. There are some that you will find online and you only find them in a particular platform. There are some you'll find only in a particular group. And channel goes beyond where you even find them. It's how you interact with them and how they can reach out to you also. So as a company offering this value and you have this customer segment, it's not just about how do you reach them. If you're into a products business, how do you deliver to them? It's part of the channel. That has to be physical. But the channel you will take to actually create awareness about that particular product might be digital. It might be on social media, it might be on different platforms. But delivering the product to them definitely has to be physical. Even though the whole processes might be online and everything. And that's where understanding value chain also comes in. So, just to take a quick exercise, let's for one of the programs we have. For one of the programs we have, let's talk about the value proposition, the customer segments, and So welcome back. So number four is relationships. It's about what kind of relationship will be having with your customers.
Okay.
Depending on your line of products, most of what I work on is digital products, applications, web, and all that. So most times, most times the relationship is actually an automated one, such that you build a platform, the user interacts with the platform itself, just like the website. They go there, if they want to chat, nobody will tell them to click on this or this, the chat. At the same time, there are some kind of relationships that you need to call the clients. There are relationships that you need to actually dedicate someone to the client, depending on the kind of value proposition you're offering as a customer segment and the channel. So briefly, I'm moving on to five. What's five? Key activities.
KA.
Yeah.
Activities. Key activities.
Now, these are the things that you need to get done, right? For everything to run smoothly. Everything to run smoothly. These are the things you need to get done. Give me, for instance, the spelling bee. What are the activities you need to get done?
The venue,
Hmm.
date,
Hmm.
time, materials, the panel of judges, the moderator,
You're just mentioning components. What are the activities involved in that?
as in activities involved.
You said judge, you said panel of judges. What exactly does that mean? It's not an activity.
Okay. I said venue.
Venue is not an activity.
Um,
Now, let me help you then. You're talking about activities, you're talking about, you mentioned judges, right? Right? One, you need to assign the judge before the date of the event. That's a clear activity.
okay.
Venue, you need to secure a venue before the date of the listing. You need to set up the venue. No, still on venue. So all these things, for instance now, this guacamole we ran into this morning, if this had been taken into consideration, okay, for us to actually get this thing installed, for what are the key activities that needs to be done, we won't run into some of these things.
Yeah.
So you just saying venue, we can say that there's more to venue. Securing the venue probably means, okay, you have to make payments. Making the payment alone is an activity on its own. Expecting the venue itself is an activity on its own. Planning the setup is an activity on its own. Decorating is an activity on its own. When people are coming to the venue, mobilizing them, depending on the arrangement you have, is an activity on its own. So you need to be able to list out all the activities involved in that project, then break them down into one-off activities and recurring activities. Are we together? One-off activities, so that's the ones that you need to get done once. Then recurring activities are the ones that you need to keep doing.
Okay.
And of course, there's a schedule to that. There are activities you need to keep doing daily to the end of the project. The activities you need to keep doing weekly. The activities you need to do monthly. For instance, paying of staff is a monthly activity, right? Weekly report from staff is a weekly activity that you need to do. And at the same time, running the structure of the business, what are the things that each staff are doing daily? For instance, yesterday when I was meeting with the social media, when we talked about schedule, how often should we post on the social media? How should we go? We talked about blog. What's the frequency? How many blog content are we having per week? That's we trying to have specific deliverables that go with the recurring timeline, which is weekly. So breaking down the activities, highlighting the key activities is very important. And part of the activities, when you look at all other aspects of the business model, you find activity in each one. Like the relationship. What are the activities associated with the relationship with your customers? How often do you have to call them? How often do you get feedback from them or they get feedback from you? Talking about customer segment, what are the activities and channels? What are the activities there? How do you reach out to them? There are activities. If you look at all other areas, you find activities that you need to identify them. You need to break those activities down into, like I said, recurring, then one-off, then have a schedule for some of the activities. We're talking about food, healthy food, then part of the activities will be production of the food. There's a lot of activities that go into that. Reaching out, getting permission from the hospital itself is another activity. Reaching out to the patients or the old people, that's another activity. Checking out on them, maybe after they make purchase, to actually see, okay, the value actually delivered as expected. That's another activity. So, and don't forget why we are doing this. We're trying to understand where it with every other project. We have multiple projects. So there are some projects that will involve a whole lot of activities that combined together we might not be able to get done at the same time. There are some activities that we can just say, for this particular project to keep running, we only need to do A, B, C. And Mr. A can accomplish that A, B, C every day. It makes the whole work, the whole planning way simpler. Moving on.
Key resources.
Now we know we have activities, right? We have a value proposition, we have a customer segment, we have channels, we have relationship, we have activities. Now, what are the key resources we need to get things done? For our value proposition, let's take food for instance again. Healthy food. What are the key resources we need? We're going into healthy food, then probably we need a processing plan. Probably we need to be more careful about the packaging. Probably all those requires resources. Talking about healthy food, you need a nutritionist on board. That's resource also.
Nutritions.
You understand? And resources can be broken down into multiple categories. You have financial resources, facilities, human resources. So for you to get your value proposition, deliver to your customer segment through your dedicated channel, right? And keep up a meaningful relationship and keep your activities running, you need some resources. So you need to identify those resources. And I'm telling you this so that by the time we're having a meeting again and you're proposing a project, you can tell us this is the value proposition, this is the channel we're going to use, this is the activities we will be doing. Then you can distribute the activities. Okay, you help us do this, you help us get this done. Then you can tell us the resources we need. We need this, we need this. Like last year when we were running that training for corporate organization, we will say, okay, this is the cost, this is how many letters we will need to get this. Those are part of the resources to get the job done. All that needs to be carefully aligned. 7, keep partnerships. When it comes to business, I always like to tell people that business is about people. That's just it. Your value proposition, you're trying to give to your customer segment. Your customer segment is made up of people. Your key activities that you will have to be performing is going to be executed by people, which are most likely your staff. Same thing with the resources. Part of your resources are the people, the manpower that you have, their skills and everything. So it's all about people. But at the same time, as a startup, especially, even big organizations still partner with small organizations. Presently, there's this program that Brewery International Nigeria Brewery is running, the Kickstart program. I happen to be one it's not as if they can actually run it in-house, but they still feel okay, partnering with some people here and there will get the job done more effectively, not faster, not better, but it's all about effective optimization of resources, which is part of why we are having this training. So instead of you having to go out and say, okay, you want to get this done, do this one, and there's a company that actually does that. Why not partner with that company? Say, okay, this is what you are doing, and this is the benefit for you doing this. It's as simple as that. Partnership goes a long, 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 long. And maybe we'll still talk about this partnership, key partnership, when we talk about when we're going into entrepreneurship. How even a company can partner with staffs to get some things done. It's not just like the staff itself, the staff is getting paid on salary, but it's actually a partnership arrangement to get some things done. We'll still go into that later, but most times you need partners to get some things done because you're trying to optimize the resources you have. It's not as if you can't get it done, but it might take longer, it might cost you more in terms of all that. With partnership, you get things done more effectively. Now, this guy, his name is cost structure. Hello, hello, gong gong. What will it cost us to get this done? Is it the production of the or the execution of the value proposition?
That's of the core production
Huh?
cost. That's of the core production cost.
No, it not depends on the kind of business. Mm. It not depends on the kind of business.
Okay, service, we can't use production.
Yeah, infrastructure also you can use production. So, but that's just cost structure. And the cost structure in terms of if part of our resources is getting a particular infrastructure, what will it cost us? If part of our resources is getting some raw materials, what will it cost? Here we're talking about money, how much you are spending. If part of our resources is human power, how much are we paying those staff? Like I was saying, okay, we need someone to go around, deliver this letter. Part of the cost structure is me saying, okay, 10,000 for mobilization. This training, part of the cost structure is saying, okay, this is how much the facilitator is getting, this is how much we are budgeting for refreshment. Everything goes on that cost structure. So with cost structure, under that cost structure, you can know exactly how much this thing will cost to get this done.
Sorry, can I take?
Yes, please. Feel free. I love pictures. So,
So I'm talking about
the last but not the least, which is the most interesting aspect, is the revenue stream. The revenue stream. How is money coming in from all this that we've done now? So, taking the instance for the food, right? And there are some specific terms you need to note. The cost structure, there are some costs that will also be recurring. There are some costs that will be fixed. There are some costs that will be variable. For instance, we are doing printing, for instance, the cost of printing 100 it won't be the same, the same ratio as printing 200. The cost of production will reduce. So maybe if 100 is let's say 50,000, 200 might just be 70,000 instead of 100,000. Those are some kind of variable cost. Then we have fixed costs. Then we have recurring costs like payment of staff, subscription, data. Those are recurring costs. All that must be carefully analyzed. Now, revenue stream. It could be outright sales. It could be rentals. These are two different categories. This is going to be recurring because the same item you put out for rentals today, right, can still be used for rentals tomorrow. Sales, it could be one-off. It could be recurring as well. So how are you making money? Let's take an instance from your healthy food value proposition business. I can identify two revenue streams from that. One is outright sales, you package the food and you're selling it. Another one is consultation. People are coming to you, those old people, and say, "Ah, this is my particular health challenge. I just don't want to buy. Just guide me on what else I can be eating." These are your two revenue streams. So it's always better to have more than one revenue stream for any product. So, for instance, part of what we are trying to say is we are using it to evaluate what all the projects we're trying to go into. So, imagine we have a project that have maybe 7 revenue stream, very strong revenue stream, and we have another one that have maybe just 2 revenue stream. Which one will it be ideal to go for? Exactly. So, all those are the things I want us to really be analyzing.
Sorry,
We're talking about
please, can I ask you a question?
Shoot.
Can I?
Yes, please.
That revenue stream,
Yeah, it's there.
yes, that's multi-guy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people miss it when it gets to that,
You mean when it gets to
to
here?
that man.
Yeah.
Would we call it the profit your particular project you're into give you? Do we say it's profit? Or profit is another thing entirely?
Profit is another thing entirely. There's a reason we don't call it profit.
Okay.
Now,
So can we call it benefit?
benefits. No. Benefits is another thing entirely.
What other thing can we call that thing revenue?
What's another thing can we call it?
Yes.
Maybe income. Income is a more
Okay, income
appropriate
in
word
as in pay.
than
Okay, if I execute this project,
And
what
when
is
you
it bringing to
exactly.
me? Okay.
So income is what are people what are the medium, what are people going to be paying for?
Okay.
That's why we're using revenue stream. How is money going to come in? What are people going to pay us for? Profit is now, okay, people have paid us. We've removed our costs for some things of this on this. This is how much is left. This is our profit. That's why we can use profit in
for
place
it.
of that.
Profit can never go.
Exactly. Any question again?
And then key partners. Can your customer be your key partner?
It's possible, yes. Yes.
How?
But as key resources and key partnership, both of them can work for each other.
Key resources.
And key partnership.
No, they won't.
They can work for each other.
Yeah, I won't say they work for each other. Now, key resources, right?
They can also be your key partner.
No, your partners have their own resources. You are partnering with them because you want to leverage on their resources. You have your own resources that you need to carefully manage. So that's why you can't say your partners are also part of you. They're part of your resources, but not directly. Because they have some certain resources that you don't have or that you have that you can't use well. That's why you're bringing them in.
So I said, why would your customers be your partner?
Okay, how could your customer be your partner? Okay, number one, I made the mention of Google. I like Google. I love Google.
Google fan.
One of the most
They're
valuable
supposed-
brands.
They're
after-
supposed to
life.
make
Is
it
it
their
after
brand.
or before Apple? I think Google is more valuable than Apple actually.
Like way more
But
valuable.
in terms of network, like which is more valuable?
Still Google.
Google is valuable. Google is valuable. Actually, they have a lot of products and services there.
So you come back to this, or you want to be talking
Let's talk
about?
about
It is
Google.
perfect.
Do you
I
want
can
to
spend
talk?
the whole day talking about
Seriously,
Google products
their
and
products
services.
is more than 500. Their products and services.
Then, sorry.
Don't you use Gmail?
Yeah, I
Google
do.
Map.
Most of you don't even know the power of Gmail.
Seriously.
Like you don't know what it means to have a Gmail account.
Don't do the respect.
You don't know. You don't know. You just know you have
Ṣé
email.
àgbẹ̀ padà
It's
sí
not
lórí
just
àgbẹ̀ fẹ́ máa
email.
sọ̀rọ̀
It's not just email.
ṣé àgbẹ̀
Oh,
padà?
okay.
The question
What of Yahoo?
I have,
I beg.
the question I want to ask, though it might not be a question, it might just be
No, let me quickly.
okay.
The question you asked, I was
Okay.
going to make reference to
Okay.
as how you can actually be partners. Now, Google has, when you have advertising, they have advertising partners. I could be a partner. For instance, if I have enough audience on YouTube, I can say I'm a partner with Google. Why? Because if you are paying Google to advertise for you and it's related to what I want based on your settings, right? Google will put that particular advert on my own channel too and pay me for it. They get their
Not
share, I get my share,
Not the customer.
not the customer. Now,
Wow.
another way, people that are into this product, this business, exactly, they partners with their customers. That's what it goes. Now, the main concept of a multi-level marketing business is you're cutting away the middleman. The product is being produced from the factory. Normally, it should go to maybe the regional distributors, then from there to wholesalers, then from there to retailers, before you can now go to buy one from one shop. But people in multi-level marketing, they are telling you, okay, we want to cut off all those people in the middle. You just order your product directly from the company and refer one person and will pay you so amount for a price. They are indirectly turning you to a partner, a marketer as well. Once you refer one person to us, we'll pay you this amount. That person too comes in. They say, okay, they now tell that person, once you refer 2 people to us, this is what we are paying you. Then if you refer 5 people, exactly. So those kind of people are automatically turning their customers into partners.
So, can we say digital marketing or social media can also be a channel of reaching your clients?
Of course, it's a channel. One of the most interesting channels anyone can use and it's very huge.
Digital marketing.
Yes.
I want us to
Another one is witchcraft. I'm not
Ajay.
going to go into that now.
Ajay.
sorry, I just want us to look at that revenue stream.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's quite important.
That one is the one we should never see on.
Which one?
The revenue stream.
Because I believe that based on my own understanding, I understand the concept of investors, your clients.
Where do you think your investors will be?
KP.
Revenue stream now?
Never.
It's KP.
Okay, key resources.
No.
KP.
KP.
Partners.
Partners.
Okay, investors.
That's where your investors.
So looking at the issue
Because they are partners because they are getting a share of whatever you are getting at the end.
of the revenue.
What they are giving you is not the revenue.
Okay, so are you done with your
No, I'm
question?
not done.
You get the logic, right?
Sorry.
Okay, so looking at that revenue stream, this we are talking about raising money before you even start your product, like before you even have something to sell. You're trying to raise money for something you're about to do, right? Okay. So
Am I talking about that?
no, I'm trying to like
Okay.
gain
Okay.
that revenue stream. Because I know it's very important. I know it's very key important. The way you want to start something, you're raising money for it without even having something concrete on ground. But you have the plan, the process and everything. Like I just want to bring you in this. How do you really like convince? How do you broaden from the scope of investors, capital, family? How do you raise more money? I know about angel investors. How do you really say what you don't have on ground to raise money? Like how do you raise money for what's not already concrete?
But we agree that money you are raising is not part of your revenue. It's you having partners that are bringing in resources to actually execute the project. Money, real revenue comes from the outcome of whatever you're doing. Noted. Now, I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I had this particular conversation on one platform. It's an interview about tech products and raising funds for tech products. And I'm going to, right, especially if it's a tech product, many investors are running away from investing in ideas. Before you will find, it's only your family and friends that can easily invest in ideas. Are you with me? People want to invest in products. So presently, one of the best way to raise money, I have a friend, Marat, is raising his pounds and euros there. And when I was asking him for advice, which is one of the advice I'm following now, two of my products that I'm working on, get your prototype out.
Get your
Prototype out. The money to get to run your prototype, right, could be raised from family, from friends, from your savings and anything. But have, let me write it clear, have a prototype.
proto
And finish it.
product type.
It's not a finished product.
Just like
It's a replica of what you want to put out. It's not just about you using it to raise money. One of the reasons why people will not invest in ideas, but they will invest when you have a prototype, is because they want to confirm if you already have this.
Market strategy.
No, sorry. Market. Now, these are two. This is another topic entirely that we can talk about on another day. Having a problem to solution fit. Part of you having a value proposition in the first place is to actually solve a problem. But how do you confirm that that particular solution is the right solution to that problem? That's the first thing. It's not just by analysis, not by word. It takes you going into your workshop, getting that product out, and actually seeing it solving that problem. People that want to invest in you want to see that. Now, there's a product to market fit also. That this product that you've now done, this is the first stage. This is the second stage. We are digressing a lot. This is the first stage, problem solution fit. That okay, yes, this solution is actually solving this problem. Then we have the market product fit, or product to market fit. That this product now that we now have that is clear, solves a particular problem, right, is accepted in the market. That the people, the customer segment that we've created it for, are willing to actually pay for it. That is when, at this point, you're trying to validate your idea. At this point, you're trying to scale. That is when you can now say, oh, yes, people are willing to pay for this product. So it means our investor will come, if you invest $2 million into this, based on what we've confirmed from these people, and based on the market audience size that we have, we are certain that okay, people will adopt it based on this our product market fit feedback. People will adopt it, and your $2 million in the next 1 year should be maybe $3.2 million, and you'll be having X% of the company, blah blah blah, and you can go up into all that technical or financial jargon. But first, raising funds for tech products, most people, more than 90% of investors will not invest in your ideas, except they just like you and they're just willing to give money.
Sorry, can we say, I'm sorry for driving us back. Feasibility study, market feasibility study
That's another thing entirely.
is not a channel. I won't call it a channel.
Why do you want to call it a job?
Like, number one, our value proposition. Okay, let's say I want to, for instance, let's say I want to start selling pig. I want to go into piggery.
Okay.
I want to go into piggery.
That's a business degree.
Yes.
Mhm.
And maybe 80, the environment I am, maybe 80% eat pig, but 20% don't eat pig.
Mhm.
Are you getting? 80 that eat pig. I only have 10 audience that are my customer. Is it possible for me now to do a feasibility study and say, oh, this pig that I want to sell, are this really what people around me wants to get? Those 20
Now,
people.
I get your question.
Uh,
You're putting the cart before the horse.
okay.
Your feasibility study should be done
First.
before you even go into the business of piggery. And
Okay.
I want to assume, based on what you just told me, you already did your feasibility study. Why?
The value proposition.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why did you do your feasibility study? Because you are the one telling me that 80% eat pig, 20% do it. That's part of your feasibility study. Okay?
Mhm.
Is there a market for what I want to do?
Okay.
It's part of your feasibility study.
Okay.
Other things can come in, but not after you now say, okay, you have 10 customers, you now want to do feasibility study now.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for that.
Thanks for that. Noted.
You're welcome. So, any last question before we close? On this particular subject of product and market fit is a very wide concept that I love talking about very well. So we can take it some other time, but that's not really our focus. Oh, it's a good question, by the way.
Congratulations
So,
for asking.
any more questions before we proceed?
The question is,
Or we
can
wrap up
proceed.
and go eat our watermelon?
The question is, we can proceed.
Huh?
The
So
question
that's basically all. Those are the 9 building blocks that you need to understand when building a business model.
I want you to explain, to highlight me
Okay.
on this customer segment, please.
Okay. All right. I'm going to explain. Correct.
Sorry, what was the question?
He wants me to
explain more on
on customer segments.
You said they don't
All right.
know.
Sorry. So you said I should explain customer
Target. And
customer segment, and you wanted to ask me a question.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not said.
Can I add my
Yeah, you
Yes,
can ask the
we are
question
all
now. So customer segments, and I wanted to use this to explain. So just want to remember that. Okay.
So you have a business,
Okay.
which is doing very well. So you have your target audience already.
Hold on. Business.
You are doing very well. Fantastic. Amazing. Cashing out. In that
Who
circle.
asked all those karama for me?
No.
In that circle.
Okay.
Doing very well with target audience. Now, does he instead of it to like is it advisable you just key into that target audience, like just focus on it? Or is it possible, or is it also profitable to now expand and move out a bit from that target audience? For instance, let's assume your target audience, maybe like you run an online radio station, they reach out to young people, like a music station, 24/7 music, streaming music online. Your target audience are youths, and you are doing very well.
Okay.
I feel like let me go out with it. Let's start having some energy programs. It's risky actually, but you as a business person, may you advise you can go out and tell, or you advise that once you have set your boundary from the start, you stick to it to the finish.
Good question.
That's a very sensible one.
So, number one, what kind of business are you running? Now, a business that does not evolve gets left behind. Are you with me? Why do you think Infinix just released another Auto 11? Why do you think Apple keeps coming up with a new version of Mac? Why do you think Google is having new products almost every year? Why? Because, like I told you earlier, business is about people, right? Business of people. People's need changes, evolves. So even the same youths that are listening to music, of now, Davido and all that, in the next 30 years, their taste would have changed. Why? Because people change as we grow, we experience new things, we take in new ones, minus new ones. So their taste, their what I call it, desires changes as well. And you as a business person, having these people as your customer, you want to tell me that if they're interested in this particular product, that's what they'll be interested in for the rest of their life. No, it changes. So you scaling into new markets is all about meeting the new demands of your customers. It's as simple as that. You can't stay the same way forever. You will get forgotten. So you need to constantly scale to meet the new demands of your customer. You can best know what the new demands are if you have a very good relationship with them and you're close enough to actually observe, to study. You don't know as if you just sell and you forget you're making your profit, you don't care. No. You really need to get to know, okay, why are they patronizing my product? When do you think, okay, the value of my product is going to be meaningless to them? Yeah, there was a time like if you have a black and white TV, you are the king in your village. Later, if you have Samsung, you are the next thing in town. Now, for me, if it's not maybe an Android iSense TV or anything, what am I doing with it? No matter how flat it is, even if it's as flat as this one. You understand? So the needs are constantly changing based on our experience itself. So that answers your question. Explaining customer segments, right?
So, this guy is calling me. I don't know what to tell you. The security guy.
And let him come in.
Where?
Customer segments. I'm using this as an example, right? You produce this. Mhm. Before producing this, what was the value proposition? Convenience, autonomy. Why I said autonomy is because I might have a charger that has two mouths. I might have a charger that has three mouths. I might have one that have those complicated two inland plug. But if you're having this, it means you can use any one. That's the value proposition. Now you're producing this. You have a particular customer segment, and those are the people that are willing to buy this from you. Who are those people? How do you identify them? Number one, they have to be people that use a gadget, either a mobile phone, laptop, desktop, TV, or anything that they can plug in. If I don't have any of that, why would I need this? So your number one customer segment is okay, people with gadgets. Is that okay enough? So any more questions? No. Any more questions? No. Okay. And how has it been so far? Thank you very much.
In fact, in Rono, you guys in the meet 5 million.
I have a question.